There's been a lot of doxing lately. Flamenco, I know you've been streaming a lot lately. Have you heard of the D's situation?
No, not the D situation. Wait, is it
D's
related
not.
to the Vinny Cup?
I literally saw that coming from like 3 miles away.
Retarded.
How?
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the TomDark channel. I'm your host, TomDark. I know you guys have become accustomed to like straight up videos here, which is fine because that is the primary content I want to do. Reacting to stuff, criticizing things. But every week I'm going to try to shake it up for 1 or 2 videos with some different kinds of content. And today I thought that content could be a conversation with one of my personal favorite streamers and one of my, I'd say pretty good online pals, AugieRFC. We have a little bit of a history on YouTube going back in time. I've been on his streams a lot. And some of the stuff that's happened on them has been the subject of my videos. It's been, pretty intensive, I guess, to some of the work I've done. I've also clipped his streams and put them on this channel, so I assume many of you will know who he is. So today I figured I'd do a little bit of a talk, a little bit of an interview with him. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the first episode of the Tom After Dark podcast.
No.
I
remember a few people DM'd me saying Ani doesn't edit her videos, and then they said keep it quiet or something like that, or I think they meant like don't tell people that they told me, which I won't.
Yeah, but it's so like even I knew that, and I have no connections to the community.
Yeah, I mean it's obvious because Ani's editing is bad and their editing's good. So whoever's
yeah, well, it's
editing
like
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first ever episode of the TomDark, the Tom After Dark, currently tentatively named podcast. I'm your host, TomDark, and with me I have AugieRFC. Augie, how's it going? How's your day?
What's going on, TomDark Nation? Good to be on here.
Yes, welcome to the show. I know you've been, a lot of people have been hitting you up. A lot of requests to come on, considering the show's growing so big lately. We're about to pass 1 million subscribers, so
damn.
Yeah, very highly requested guest. So today I want to do something a little different that I haven't done before, kind of as practice for me to get a little better at interviewing people, talking to people in that way, because, not all of us stream for a living. And kind of just as an interesting thing that I think not a lot of people get to see from you, your fans would appreciate to know about. I want to talk about sort of your history on YouTube, kind of in tandem with mine on the Turkey Tom channel. I want to talk about the commentary community, and I want to talk about you, all right? I want to peel back the layers of your brain to see what's inside. All right, AugieRFC, Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
You're ready? All right. Is there anything you don't want to talk about?
No, everything's fine,
Everything's on the table.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So,
talk about whatever.
Augie, you're from Texas, right? You're from Texas.
Yeah.
I believe you're a year or two older than me. What, you were born in 2000?
2001.
2001, okay, all right, I'm 02, so we're close to the same age. You're from Texas, so we're gonna go all the way back to the beginning, all right? We're gonna go before YouTube. Middle school and high school. What kind of kid were you?
I was pretty fucking weird, dude. So
pretty weird.
I was like, I would get like really like autistically interested in like these really like nerdy hobbies or something, and I didn't really have, honestly. Well, actually, that's not true. I had friends, but my friend group always like changed. Like every year, honestly, every half of a year, my friend group would like completely change or whatever. I would just kind of like, I would talk to people, they'd kind of dip, new people would come, So I wasn't bad at making friends or anything like that, but I definitely was a little bit weird, and I was just extremely socially awkward, dude.
Yeah. But would you say you like put your interests and hobbies just kind of above like friendship as like a need?
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. The thing is that like I was really awkward, but I never like saw that as like a problem that I needed to address. Like sometimes like I would do something really stupid. I'd be like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
But
yeah, okay.
For the most part, I was pretty strange, but I never saw it as like an issue or something I needed to like correct. I kind of just like got a little older, and then I just kind of like, pulled my head out of my ass. It never happened because I wanted to. It just kind of happened naturally. So.
What kind of hobbies were you into? Was it like Sonic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh? What was it?
Well, gaming, like Nintendo and stuff like that was always like a big thing. Around middle school era, I was like really into like Rubik's Cubes. Rubik's
Cubes. I remember when those came back when I was in like I think I was in like 7th or 8th grade, and they really came back. Everyone had like
I started the trend, dude. Like I
started it.
I copyrighted that shit. No, like I literally like I remember like one time I was at like a park or something when I was in like 5th grade. I saw like a friend with a Rubik's Cube. I'd never seen one before. I was like, what the hell is that? And so I got my own and I figured out how to solve it. And so I started like looking it up online and stuff, because this is when I first started using the internet. And I figured out that they made all these like different versions. Like everybody knows like the 3x3, you know, the
yeah, there were all these like Japanese ones I saw these kids have that like, there was like a one that's like 2x2. And then there was ones that were like 4x4, and then there was like triangle ones and like all these weird like hexagons and shit.
Well, it was such cool shit, right? Because like they would make 2x2s up to 5x5s, right? But the 6x6 was thought to be like impossible, just because like the way like the mechanism of the cube works, that they couldn't, like, it just was like impossible. Until this one guy came around, he made the corner pieces bigger than the other pieces, and he made the edge pieces longer than the other pieces. And somehow, through some mathematical genius, he was able to invent cubes that go beyond 5x5. And then they have all these other weird ones that are like hexagons and shit like that. It's really nerdy stuff. Like I'm saying, I like this is like the nerdiest fucking shit I could possibly have got myself involved with.
Rubik's Cube's definitely a little autistic, but that's all right. Yeah. I remember when I was in like
I just like the repetition of solving them, because it's the same thing over and over again. You scramble it, you do it over again, you do the same thing.
Yeah, I hate that. I love that shit. There's like a whole math thing to it, and I always fucking despised math and science in like middle school and high school. Like those were like my least. I tried the least in those subjects, and I also like hated them the most. So,
dude, I loved math. I hated science, but I loved my science teacher. My science teacher was probably my best teacher, even though I hated the subject.
Usually science and math go hand in hand. That's interesting. Huh?
Yeah.
Definitely when I was in school, it was like civic stuff, like history. I liked that, and I liked English. Those were my two really. Then obviously like the art stuff I was really into. Like when I was younger, I was like the kid who drew. That was like my archetype in school.
Well, for me, like I was a big numbers person, and I was also really big into like geography or something, right? So for instance, when I'm driving in my car, like I basically have like fucking Google Maps like in front of, like where I can like see, like I'm like, okay, that road goes there and it then leads to that road, and then the highway's over there, and then like, you know, my parents' house is in that direction. Like I always have like this general, like it's like I walk into my car, it's like a HUD or something. So I was really into geography, honestly.
Yeah, my spatial awareness is so bad, dude.
Everyone I know is like where things are. Awareness. Yeah, everyone's shit.
Yeah, relative to each other, it's like so limited. I don't know if that's like a development thing or I'm just born this way, but yeah, my sense of like where things are placed relative to each other, like I have a decent grasp of like U.S. geography and like world geography even, but as far as like navigating a town, like I'm just a retard, like a complete idiot.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you're good at that. Yeah. So, all right. So you were kind of an awkward kid. You know, you had some friends, but you were more concerned with your interests and your friends, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And then at some point, you find this website called YouTube. When was that? When did you start really using the internet? And then, what was your introduction to YouTube?
So I'm pretty sure my first video was like January 2013. And it was a Rubik's Cube channel, so that's it kind of ties into more interest there, because I was saying before, like I started Googling all this stuff, right, figuring out like all the different puzzles, and I found out there was like this massive community of people. Like it was literally the commentary community, like it was like a community of similar size, like to like 2016 commentary, but there's all these Rubik's Cube people, and believe it or not, there was like a shitload of drama there too, like. There was actually a ton of, honestly, that's probably why I'm so like that's probably why I do drama now, is because, you know, like in this community, like obviously like everybody's just trying to have a good time, show off their puzzles, you know, solve them as fast as possible, get some new times and stuff like that, right? But there was also a lot of controversy because people would like review different brand cubes, and, you know, they get accused of being biased or selling out. I remember there's this controversy where this one company like copied the design of this other one, and it started like a whole copyright debate, like a whole copyright infringement debate. I mean, it really sounds pretty similar to the stuff we argue about, you know, today.
Yeah, really, it sounds like an interesting video. I might look into it.
Technical stuff, but I mean, that was the kind of stuff that I was like, you know, seeing, and I didn't really get involved in the drama, but I definitely watched a ton of it, and I was just making my own videos, kind of just goofing off. I never took it seriously, dude. I didn't even check when I would upload videos. I wouldn't even like check how many views they'd have or something. I checked the comments because the comments interested me. I always like that, but I never checked the views. Like honestly, like it never even like registered to me that I could ever upload a video that would get like anything worth caring about view wise. So I just never checked it.
Okay, so you're introduced through Rubik's Cube videos. I think I was introduced through The Annoying Orange, honestly. That's the first YouTube video I remember watching in like 2010, 2011 probably.
Dude, the first YouTube video I watched was in like 2006. It was like an advertisement for a Wii game, and the Wii hadn't even come out yet.
Oh, I see.
And
yeah, because you're a big
like,
Nintendo head.
Yeah. So I saw that. I was like, I remember telling my dad at the time because we were watching this ad on YouTube, and I noticed like the website it was uploaded on. I was like, I was like a website full of videos. This is awesome. Like I remember saying that, and I was like. Keep in mind, I was like 6 at the time or something, right?
Really? You remember that verbatim? Very prophetic. Very prophetic.
Literally. And my dad was just like, nah, this website's shit. He was like,
no,
nah.
I think my introduction was through The Annoying Orange, and then I watched some other people. I remember watching like old Shane Dawson. Like I remember his old Shaniqua character, which was like a black woman that he would play.
Oh,
like just a very racist stereotype. I remember this one video in particular where the whole joke was like, so I guess old women have to like have this crazy like pussy bag attached to them, like a weird douche thing that they like leak into or something. I don't really understand it, but I remember that being like my first like really introduction to like some super edgy humor. And I remember just being disgusted with what the fuck it was, but I couldn't stop watching. Like I kept watching. A little later on. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. All right. So
what do you mean you will get into that?
we'll get into that. Okay. So you were introduced to YouTube, you know, but was YouTube like a thing you consistently watched for a long time, like for years after that point, or was it not until later?
Well, I first saw a YouTube video in like 2006, but I didn't actually start watching it regularly until I think it was 2011. I think that's when I started watching it. I found this guy's channel. His name was Rob H0629. And I remember that because the reason why it's the 0629 is that's his birthday, June 29th. And that's also my birthday, right? So I was like, holy shit, dude. The connections, dude. The patterns. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
I used to watch the shit out of this guy's videos. He started at making Rubik's Cube videos, but then he turned into an origami channel. And honestly, I didn't really ever give a fuck about origami, but I just thought his videos were really entertaining. And honestly, I tried a few of them. I kind of suck at origami. I tried a few of them. And I like, he would teach you how to like, it started simple stuff. Like he'd teach you how to make like ninja stars. And then it got into like more complex things, like videos that would take like an hour long where he's describing how to make this, you know, these paper crafts. And again, like I never got into origami, but I really liked the videos. I liked his formula. So
regardless of the subject matter, you had an appreciation for the entertainment and the art of it.
Yeah, it was interesting to me. I was like, wow, this is a really interesting, like, because like I looked at YouTube channels like as like a TV show, right? I was like, what a cool concept for a TV show, teaching you how to make origami shit. I mean, that just sounds so cool, right? Like it was a new concept to me, right? I was like, wow.
Right. Okay. So you start watching YouTube. Were there any other notable channels around that you were watching people may recognize or you want to name?
I watched a ton of Me, Myself, and Pi. He was another guy who started doing Rubik's Cube videos, but then he transitioned into Minecraft, right? And that's what got me into Minecraft around like the 2013 time period.
Right.
But I watched so many of his Let's Plays. And his channel. That's kind of when I started like, you know, getting really into YouTube when the gaming stuff happened. Because before, you know, I was watching like Rubik's Cube and crafts and stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is cool or whatever. But when I found the gaming side of YouTube, that kind of like blew me away. I was like, this is so entertaining. Let's Plays were a new thing to me. I started watching Let's Plays and I was like, wow, this is just, you know, again, like, it just blew me away that, you know, that you could make something like this, right? Like you could play a video game, which is something I did every day, and you could turn it into like a series, like a continuation. Like I would wake up the next morning. I started watching this guy, Kobe, Kaban Armani 456.
Oh, I know who he is, yeah.
Yeah. He did a lot of Nintendo, and then he also did a lot of Sonic. And I would wake up like you know, I'd go to school or something. I'd come home from my class and stuff, and I'd kick on the new Let's Play. It was like it sort of like introduced like daily like videos to me, where I was like, wow, it's like something to look forward to every day. It's just early YouTube.
Yeah, my introduction to that kind of stuff was also through Minecraft. The first Minecraft channel, really the first Let's Play channel I think I watched consistently was Captain Sparkles. This was like probably shortly after Minecraft came out officially. And I think I had the Pocket Edition. I can't remember exactly, but I know I did not have a computer at the time. So I remember playing Pocket Edition with my pals, and then I remember finding he had like a Minecraft survival series. And there was like this whole like lore to it. He had like a tree called Jerry's Tree. He had a bunch of animals. He was in like a jungle and shit. And I remember watching that and just being blown away by the fact that like this guy was playing a game and entertaining me, and I didn't even play it. And I remember my dad at the time being like, "What the fuck are you watching? You're watching like some other guy play a game?" And I was like, "Yeah." And at the time, it didn't quite register to me either, because you know I like games. I like playing games on my own as well. So it didn't quite like. I was like, why do I like this guy? This little nasally freak playing this game. But I don't know. As time went on, I just kind of became accustomed to them, and I probably watched like 100 or 200 of his survival videos, and then he started doing Minecraft Hunger Games when that was a big thing. Yeah. With like Beijing Canadian and people like that. So I was watching those videos in like middle school. I remember me and my friends were really into those. And yeah, that was a huge formative experience for me, watching those videos like every day when I came home from school. I remember that was like an experience.
Oh yeah, dude, that shit. I watched Let's Plays for like 3 years or whatever, and it was so awesome. It was just innocent fun, you know? I mean, like, we're talking about 2013, 2014, even like 2015, as if, you know, these are like, you know, crazy long time periods ago, but
yeah,
it was only 5 or 6 years ago, but you know, we were innocent back then, right? Like, we had nothing to give a fuck about. Like, we weren't really doing anything meaningful at that time. Well, maybe you were, but I mean, I had stuff going on, but like, you know, I still had like enough time to like, you know, be innocent and be, you know, only concerned with things that are like childish, you know, like games and YouTube and stuff like that. You know, that's all I really, you know, and school was there too. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like around that time period, like even in high school or whatever, you're still innocent. You still don't have that much.
I mean, it's just, the real innocence was like the lack of responsibility. You know
exactly,
I mean?
dude.
Like, there was just no like impending like doom or threat. There was no like, oh, I gotta make money, you know. It's like that song by 21 Pilots where he says, "Wake up, you need to make money." You know, I hadn't experienced that yet, dude. So it was a very cool time to just like chill out. Didn't give a fuck about anything. My whole life was like, you know, school and like watching YouTube videos and like dicking around with my friends.
Yeah, like I talk to like my friends nowadays, right? And they'll tell me stuff like, "Man, nowadays I just can't justify playing a video game for like more than a few hours because I feel like at the end of it, I've just wasted so much time I could have spent to being productive." And I'm like, yeah, dude, like there was a time period where that just, you never even thought about that, like how much time you were wasting. You don't care.
Yeah. But you kind of do that as your job now, which I'm sure is nice because, you know, you can just
for me,
throw on a
different.
game and stream and make money.
Yeah. For me, it's different. But even then, like, you know, when I'm playing like most of the time I play video games, I'm doing it on stream, right? Like I don't really play games almost ever offline. So when I do, it's always like, I'm always like, whoa. You know, like
I think around that time I was pretty normal. Like I was more normal. And then as I started getting more into internet shit, I got weirder. Like I remember one of the first like kind of like offbeat internet things I got into was creepypasta when that was really big. So me and my friends were really into like Slender Man and like all that shit. And there was a website. I don't remember to this day if it was the Creepypasta Wiki or if it was creepypasta.com. But basically you could go there and you could read like all these stories and lore about these characters. And then there was also like like most wikis would have like a random article button. There was like a random story button. So I remember sitting in like class in like 6th and 7th grade. I just click random story a bunch of times and just read this shit. And thought it was really cool how, you know, all this like folklore was out there. And I was also at the age where some of it kind of felt real, you know what I mean? Like I could have believed it. So that was part of the fun. It was like, you know, is this real? It's on the internet. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know where it's from. I mean, maybe it's real, maybe it's not. So that ambiguity made it simultaneously like creepy, but also really, really cool to experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you're into a lot of YouTube stuff. You're kind of an awkward kid, and eventually you find commentary videos. Do you remember what your first commentary channel or first commentary video was, or how you got into that?
Yep. I remember it so well. It was Rice Gum.
Really? Rice Gum, holy shit.
So I forget how I found one of his videos. Let me think for a second. I think somebody at school just like told me about Rice Gum, so I just looked him up, right? And I watched his videos on Jacob Sartorius, right? And I was like, it was a new type of video to me. Like, I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. So he's just, you know, he's making YouTube videos. And by the way, people are going to say Rice Gum isn't commentary. No, back then he was definitely commentary.
He was doing like roast videos.
Yeah, but it was like weird to me because I was like, okay, it's a guy who's making videos on YouTube talking about how shit YouTube is. Like, what a weird concept for a video, you know? It's kind of like with video games.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you're just watching a guy play video games. You know, why not just play the game yourself, you know? Like, I don't know. It's kind of like that. Like, I was like, okay.
That's the thing I remember from that time. Every video, like, had to have some quote about how they fucking hate YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, oh, welcome to this shitty-ass website. We're making another fucking video. Don't even want to be here. Like, that was kind of the vibe, and it was cool at that time.
Yeah, literally. So I found
what Rice Gum video? Yeah.
I think it was, I don't know. I can't remember. They're also like, they all blended in together. It was definitely Jacob Sartorius once. And then I think I watched his These Kids Need to Be Stopped series. I watched that. And when I was watching Rice Gum, it sort of led me down the pipeline, right? So he had Keemstar in his channel box. So I looked up Keemstar and I watched a few Drama Alert videos and I was like, okay, so he's like a news show. And then I looked up Keemstar on the search bar. This is like summer 2016, right? And I see everybody hates him. I'm like, whoa. Like at that point, I'm thinking I just stumbled into like a fucking rabbit hole over here, right? So that's when I find Leafy and Grade. And Leafy immediately clicked with me. Like I immediately, like I watched that guy. I stopped watching Rice Gum and Keemstar. I started watching Leafy. I was like, all right, this is more my speed. And keep in mind, I was
he was really relatable. He felt young, but also like kind of older at the same time.
Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't even really that edgy of a kid. I was just more like, you know, I was like, okay, this is different, you know, like I'm not used to like a channel like this. So I found Leafy and I watched the Keemstar rants, which then brought me back to Keemstar. And I saw he was doing baited podcasts, so I listened to that. And that's kind of when it really sent me down the pipeline, because that's when I found Clown. I binged all of Clown's videos. I was like, wow, this guy's great. And then I found Tommy C, and at that point, I became like a daily listener of Tommy C. And that's really like, I mean, honestly, you want to talk about like formative channels. Like, I mean, watching Tommy C like really changed my perspective on a lot of things. Like, like at that point, keep in mind, I'm just some random tard kid who doesn't really have like an original thought in his brain. I'm still kind of just like a sheep, basically. And so I'm watching Tommy C, and his style is just literally completely different from everybody else's. And I'm like, whoa, this is really
he was the only one doing like commentary streams at that time. He was it. Like,
yeah.
Thought about it.
And that's kind of like when it clicked to me. I like streams way better than videos because I like the longer form content. So I was still a bigger fan of Baited, but then when Baited broke up, I switched fully over to Tommy's channel. And for a while, like from like 2016 to 2018, literally all I watched was Tommy. Like I would just tune in every like 3 o'clock afternoon, new Tommy stream, listen to that. And that's kind of all the YouTube I consumed. I kind of stopped watching videos after Leafy died off. I just only listened to Tommy's stream, and that was it. I would spend like an hour on YouTube a day just watching his stream, and then I'd shut it off and do something else. That's kind of when I fell out of YouTube, actually. And then in 2018, ironically enough, Bloodsports actually got me back into watching more YouTube.
Right. Hell yeah. Okay. Well, we'll go back to Bloodsports in a second. I think I don't actually know who made this video, like who my first commentary video was, but I do remember seeing it. I was like at the library after school. I don't remember why, but I was there. I think my parents were picking me up later or something. I don't know. But I was there after school. It was, I think 7th or 8th grade. I don't exactly remember. Probably 8th grade because it was closer to like 2015, 2016. And I was there and someone was reacting to, remember that channel Toys in Japan with like the cancerous like Hitler finger puppet videos?
Sort of, maybe.
It was like 5 little Hitlers jumping on the bed. and it would be like these weird, like surreal animations. The channel was called Toys in Japan, and a lot of people at the time reacted to it from commentary, right?
Right.
So there was this video where this guy, like I remember the clip vividly, but I still don't know what video it was or who it was. It might have been like a nobody, but it was like it'd play like a clip of like Toys in Japan, and then this guy was like over Counter-Strike footage, just switching. He was like, "This is just absolute fucking cancer. What the fuck am I watching?" And I remember seeing that and being like, holy shit, like what is this? It's not a gaming video because, you know, the gaming isn't really the focus, but he's like reacting to something and he's like calling them out. And there was something really cool about that to me. And so I don't remember who that was in specific, but later on, I was introduced to commentary through, honestly, I think probably Pyrocynical was my first one. I watched him a little bit, which is a little... a little ironic maybe now. Is that irony? I don't know. But Pyrocynical, he was a big introduction to me. And then from Pyro, I got into Leafy. And Leafy I was a much bigger fan of than Pyro because I didn't really like, I don't know, I don't really have this anymore, but at the time, British voices just kind of turned me off from channels. So, like, the fact that he was British, I really didn't like.
Yeah,
and also, like, he kind of had a weird voice. Whereas Leafy sounded like someone I could meet in, like, Counter-Strike, you know? Or someone I could meet, like, at school. So, it was cool that he was, like, this kind of young guy reacting to stuff who is, you know, somewhat relatable. And he also would talk about things that are, like, kind of taboo. And he was close, even though he was, like, close in age to me, you know, he would talk about, like, drugs or, like girls and shit like that, parties. So, I found that pretty enticing as well. But I think I found his channel before he was really going heavy on the reaction stuff. I think it was right at the tail end of, like, because he blew up from, like, Counter-Strike kind of rant videos, like Kids That DDoS. And it was kind of the tail end of that when he was, like, traveling Europe. He might have had 250, 300K. And he was talking about, like, he was talking about, like, I did Molly, and this is the experience with it. And it would be, like, a 6-minute video. Totally just, like, bullshit a story. I mean, it was probably true, but it was just, like, a bullshit video. It didn't really have a lot of substance to it. But those videos really got me into, like, the commentary community. From there, I found Keemstar, found Baited. I have a lot of vivid memories listening to Baited. And then I also got into Tommy through that. And Tommy at CI, you know, in specific, I remember being a big kind of like hub for me in terms of commentary because he knew all the commentators, even though his channel was kind of small. He'd talk about like the in-drama that other bigger channels wouldn't talk about or comment on. And the fact that it was a live show made it feel like very like exciting and real. So I remember like typically school got out like 2:10 or 2:30 or something. And Tommy's show started at like 3, which was perfect. So I would get home and immediately just watch Tommy's stream. And I'd always want to catch it live. Like I hated watching it after it was live because I like to feel like I was like, you know, experiencing it at the moment, like a radio show or something like that.
Yeah.
So he was a big introduction for me. And then from him, I got into Zaptai because he did like a few streams where he had mentioned Zaptai. And then I remember specifically watching Zaptai's videos and being like, oh, this is so good. And then pretty shortly after Tommy interviewed him, he got like exposed or whatever by Alex. But yeah, definitely Leafy. I Hate Everything was a big one. I don't really talk about him that much anymore, but very cool that I've gotten to talk about him because he was a big inspiration for me. People kind of forget, but him, Grade, H3, Leafy, and Pyro all were kind of like when certain controversies would happen, like the reaction channels drama, which you talked about in your Grade video, like the reaction jinx and that kind of shit. When Fair Use happened with fuck, what's their name? The whole React World thing, the Fine Bros, those two guys. That was a big drama. Everyone talked about it, and it kind of made me feel like watching Tommy and watching all of them and listening to Baited made me feel like I was a part of a community that I had no real connection to. You know what I mean? Like there was like a movement behind it, especially with the big dramas. And then I got into iDubbbz and all that shit. So yeah, definitely. I think Pyro was probably one of the first ones, and then from Pyro, I found Alex, who I actually watched for. I think the end of 2016.
His videos actually used to be a little, you know, they were kind of chill. His early ones.
Yeah, they weren't bad. I remember I subbed to him. I think I might have subbed to him right before the shout out or at the shout out from Pyro. I don't know, but I watched him and it was cool seeing him blow up. I remember at the time. He I think had like 26K at the time, and by the end of the year he had like 70K, and then he passed 100K like January, February of the next year. Yeah. But yeah, his videos weren't that bad. He was all right. Definitely
I liked his video he did on Kavos when him and Kavos had that beef or whatever. That was
shit. That was a little later. That was good shit though. Honestly, the funniest thing he did was in the intro to the video. He made fun of Kavos like never having like focus his camera. He was like, he like starts recording. He's like, oh wait, I just gotta focus it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. People say 2016 was such a good year, and it was, but people kind of slept on 2017. That was a decent year as well.
2017 was good, yeah.
It got a little crappy in the middle with the Jake Paul stuff. It was a little too much Jake Paul, but overall, I think 2017 had its fair share of good-ass moments, in my opinion.
Well, I feel like 2017 didn't have, like, the stakes of the 2016 drama. Like, it wasn't as big, but the drama was interesting, right? Like, all the, like, inner commentary stuff, like VWQ versus Kavos and Kavos versus, like, I'm Alex, and there was, like, the Random Shark. You remember his channel?
Yeah,
was, like,
I binged all that guy's videos a while ago. Dude, I remember... yeah, the 2017 commentary that made it so interesting, right? Is Leafy was still uploading, but nobody talked or associated with him. They acted like Leafy like didn't exist, right? So you had a community without Leafy.
He was dead to them, yeah.
So like they had like no like sense of direction. So they just started like trying to like fight each other and eat each other and stuff. And that's when you had like Kavas come out of nowhere and he started blowing up, shitting on everyone in the community.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Leafy was bigger than all of them, and even was getting more views, despite the fact that his channel was like on the decline a bit. He was getting more views than Pyrocynical, but they treated him like he didn't exist. And those like pyramids and tier lists or whatever. Yeah,
and then Pyro became like the kappa of the whole community. Pyro kind of like filled his shoes, which was weird because like again, like Leafy was still doing technically, if not better, then at least comparable. You know?
Yeah. But the commentary community had officially split from him. He was on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Random Shark. I have nostalgia watching his videos about like, you remember how fucking hated Wild Spartans was? Like,
yeah, dude.
His videos.
People treated him so bad. Honestly, I never thought Wild Spartans videos were that bad. I think the only problem that I had with him, like the only major problem, is he kept repeating himself.
He just was never like I feel like there was just no reason to watch Wild Spartans, like, because
yeah, but there was kind of no reason to watch anybody. Everybody kind of did the same shit.
I mean, they kind of did the same shit, but like Wild Spartans in particular, like he didn't really have any interesting insight. He didn't have anything like great to say. He wasn't that funny. Like he just kind of made videos where he was like a little angrier and said fuck more than everyone else. Yeah. I really didn't like. I don't know. After a while, I just realized like this guy's videos are kind of shit, because there was a time when it was like, I'll subscribe to all of these guys no matter what, because I just want as much commentary as possible.
Yeah.
So I'd watch like I'm Alex, Bionic Pig, Elvis the Alien, all those guys. And I'd like, you know, I'd take in their lore and like I'd follow them on Twitter and shit. And that was around the time that I finally like started YouTube after a while, because I had wanted to, and I had like uploaded on previous channels before with like my friends and shit, like Roblox and Minecraft stuff, but I never really committed to it. And around that time, like 8th grade, I posted a few videos, but really freshman year of high school, I really started posting and trying to get places. I remember I posted these like videos like ranting about shit or whatever, and they were really shitty. And this guy named Novaside, who was in the community at the time, he commented on my videos. He was like, oh, I really like your stuff. He had like maybe 300 subs, which is a lot bigger than like 60 subs I probably had at the time. Like probably a lot of which were just like like sub for sub people or shit. People who like I commented on their videos and had like no subs, so they just subbed to me.
Yeah.
So there was him. There was Bubsies was one of the people that got me into it. I don't know what the fuck he's doing now. He came back a few years ago and tried to be like, I fucking made you. I fucking added you to the group chat that got you in the community, and then you blew up and left me. And I was like, all right, whatever. But that's all kind of in the past. But yeah, so then I kind of like got into like the Skype group chats, like late 2016, early 2017, and that was kind of the real introduction. It was kind of right as Leafy was on his way out. I kind of
okay. Well, you got involved in. So you started a channel way after I started a channel, but you got involved in the community way before I got involved, dude. I didn't really touch the community at all. So basically, I made my channel. I made Red Fox Comms in 2016, and initially it was just like a gaming channel. It was a spinoff of a channel I watched a lot. It was called Brain Scratch Comms. Right. And it was some Call Me Johnny's like gaming channel he had with his friends, and they would just do
Call Me
let's
Johnny.
plays.
I know that name.
Yeah, he does like video game reviews. He mostly is known for his Sonic stuff, but he does everything.
He's like Peanut Butter Gamer and all those guys, right?
Yeah, but I always liked his stuff way more than all the other review guys. Like I like that guy's stuff, and I liked his Let's Play channel too. So me and a friend of mine from school, we wanted to start our own like little like goof off spin-off channel of it. So we did Red Fox Comms, and we launched that in 2016 summer. We did.
What is the Fox thing? Is that like Tails?
Everyone says that. That's not true. I just used Tails as a logo because it made the most sense, but.
Yeah.
The Red Fox thing, it's because me and the guy that I started the channel with, we were on the debate team. We were debate bros, dude. We were debate bros before that was even a thing, dude.
Yeah.
Nah, but we it's sort of like an inside joke, so I can explain it really quick. So basically, we were in we were in a tournament, right? And the whole purpose of this tournament was basically practice for like the big tournament, like the big one, the yearly annual, like this is where you show up to like give it your all. We were at one before that big one just to practice, and we desperately needed practice. So we wanted to argue like, because like this was an event where you pick the topics, right? Like you have to pick the topics like, as a group of like 30 people. You guys have to coordinate with each other and decide what you guys want to debate about for the next 3 hours, right? So we showed up and we were like, we want to debate this topic, and this topic, which were like complex like policy issues, but we needed practice on them because we didn't really know how to debate them, and we only had like a month to prepare. So we were like, let's just do this and run it. Nobody else wanted to run it. They wanted to run a stupid debate topic. I don't even know why this was submitted. It was, should we change the national animal to the red fox? Like, who fucking cares what the national animal is? First of all, it's the eagle, and it should stay that. But second of all, who cares? Who fucking, like, what intense, like, really, you know, critical conversation can you have on what the national animal should be? Like, there's no conversation there. But the reason why everybody wanted to debate that is because it was simple, and people didn't want to debate the hard policy stuff, but we needed to do that. So we got fed up. We just left the room. We were like, fuck this shit. If you guys aren't gonna have a conversation worth having, then we're just gonna fucking leave. So we did. And ever since then, it was like a joke to us. So we just needed like a nice two-word comms thing, so we're just like, fuck it, Red Fox. Why not? Just start a little.
Okay. So you make the channel in July of 2016. So,
yeah, we made the channel. We made a few videos, a few Let's Plays, and then we just got too busy with school. And
yeah, I see some old Sonic stuff on the channel.
Yeah. We did some of that. But I was always down to record, but my friend that I did it with was always really busy. All right. So my friend, all right, he was Asian. Okay. So he had to make sure he got, really good grades. So he was always really busy with school, which was unfortunate because it meant that we couldn't do videos that often. Right. Cause
right.
I mean, no discredit. I'm not dissing the man at all, but he had shit he needed to do. Okay. And I couldn't control that. So
did you not really give a shit about school, or was it just like, I'll do what I need to do to like get the honors grade and then that's it?
Yeah, I just kind of do what I need to do. I mean, I generally got good grades, but I didn't really like work too hard for them. I just kind of...
You weren't really focused on it.
I'm really good at half-assing it. So when I did school or something, like I would kind of just, I would read up. Like if I'm studying for a test, like I would just read the basic material, run through some flashcards or whatever. Fuck it, I'm ready to go. Walk in. Usually I'd get a good grade. Sometimes that strategy would fuck me in the ass, but usually it would work out in my favor. So that's kind of how I just kind of skirted by school. A lot of my school, so here's the thing about school for me, right? I was homeschooled, but I outsourced all my classes, right? So basically what that meant was I had a college schedule, but in high school, right? Which means I was in charge of my own schedule. So I could kind of
did you attend a physical school?
Yeah, of course. I attended, there was 2 different locations I went to that hosted a variety of classes that I took. I did take a couple classes at home, just like stuff that I needed that wasn't offered there. Or it was offered there, but
on your computer, or did like your mom or dad like?
No, it was on my computer or something. Dude, people have such a funny misconception of homeschooling. They think you're like senior and like your mom is like reading you shit or something. Like that's not how it works.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea.
No, that's not how it works.
I did public school my whole life.
I mean, obviously when you're like a little kid or something, then yeah, you're being taught. But around middle school, you kind of just start self-teaching yourself. And if you have like trouble or shit, that's when, you know, you get like a tutor or your mom or whatever, whoever to help you out. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, right? So I was skirting by school. My friend was super busy, so we could never record. And I just kind of stopped taking the channel seriously. But then a year later, 2017 rolls around. It's like February 2017. You know, all the Zaptai stuff, the VWQ stuff is going down. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, dude. I'm starting a commentary channel. So in April of that year, I relaunched my channel, but as a streaming channel. So
yeah, I see you got some stream VODs on here.
Yeah,
I can see. You even had like a whole like graphics and a setup. You had like that little window for you with the chat on the side.
Dude, I was hardcore about it, man. I was like, I'm gonna launch this and I was gonna take it seriously because I had like diddled on YouTube for 4 years at this point. But in 2017, I made the full decision. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this super duper seriously. I'm gonna see where this goes. And by the time I graduate, we'll see where I am. That's what I told myself. I was like, once I graduate, we'll see what happens.
Because I'm looking at one of your videos right now. It's called, this is from August 25th, 2017. So a little later. Ace for Ace 3 Productions, save the commentary community, and here's how. And you have like a whole like setup. You have like, you know, your little icons on the side, like YouTube, Twitter, Discord. You have like on the bottom like projects you're involved in. You got a little window for you. You got your headset. Like this is significantly more effort than most starting streamers, you know, start out with. You had like some ambition. You put in some effort into the presentation. And was that like a Tommy C inspired thing, or did you just
a lot of
like,
it was definitely inspired by Tommy C, because obviously he was the only guy streaming back then, and that's when even when I started watching him years ago, I was like, I want to do streaming. This looks like so much more fun than making videos. So I tried that out. I launched my my stream thing. I kept it gaming and Sonic focused at the start, but the idea was that slowly I would transition into more commentary, and that's what I ended up doing, right? So I did that for 6 months. I would stream with my friends. Literally the only people in my chat were my friends. So every time I would stream, I'd have like a pretty consistent 5 to 10 viewers, but they were my friends. But that was kind of cool at the time, right? Because I was like, it was basically like I was like streaming our group calls, except they're in the chat or something, and I'm just playing games. And that, like, people say like I have a really big community nowadays, dude. Like even from the start, like, when it was like 5 to 10 viewers, like it was quite literally a community because it was my friends, right? So it was kind of cool at the time, but I always wanted to like expand just, you know, beyond them and get some people that, you know, don't know who I am, right? So January 2018 rolls around and the Logan Paul thing happens, right? So I did a video covering the Logan Paul thing, and it was my highest performing video yet. I was fucking... Do you know how many views it got, dude? I was ecstatic.
How many did it get?
300 views. Holy shit, dude. That's 300 people. That's at least 280 people that aren't my friends, okay? So that's a big deal to me at the time. I looked at every, like, minor accomplishment as, like, the greatest thing ever. Like, when I hit 100 subs, I was like, holy shit, dude, I just hit 100 subs. This is insane.
Right.
Holy fuck. So so when my Logan Paul video hit 300 views, at that point I was like, all right, fuck the gaming. We're going full in on commentary. That's when I decided. I was like, we're going all in. And a couple months went by, and I did a video on grade A under A. And the 300
Why grade A
views,
under A was important.
Yeah, this was like 2 months later. 2 months later, after getting a video to 300 views, I did a video on grade A under A, and it got 300,000 views, which...
Yeah, you would do these videos where you would kind of sit in the camera, and it would be a commentary video, but it wasn't like reacting to something. You just talk about the topic and have some visuals. You did one on Leafy. I remember that's how I found you, actually, the grade video. That's how I subbed to you, because I got that in my recommended. I was like, oh, I'll check this out. And I might have had like 60,000 views at the time, but I remember checking back the next day and being like, holy shit, this video is like blowing up. And at this point, I already had like an audience, right? And I feel like this was longer ago than it really was, but this is only like 3 years ago. This is March 28th, 2018, so like 3.5 years ago. I posted this video. Yeah.
Dude, when I posted that video, I posted it, and the first day it did well. The first week, it hit 1,000 views. And when it hit 1,000, I was like, holy shit, dude. I remember screenshotting it. I was like, I finally made a video that hit 1K. And then by the next week, it was like 200K. And I'm like, what the fuck happened, dude? My subscriber count, when I made the video, I had like 300 subs. My subscriber count went to like 4,000 in like a month. Like I went from 300 to like 4,000. So at that point, I was like, holy shit, dude. I just did something insane. Like I was like stunned. I was like, because obviously if 300 views was blowing me away, obviously like 300K would be like even, you know, that was like even more mind boggling. So I was like, well, fuck, how do I do that again? So I kept making videos and stuff, and some of them would do okay. Some of them would get 1K, or I think one of them even got 5K and stuff like that.
Yeah, you did a Leafy one that got 18K. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so I would make videos that would do okay. Some of my other videos would go back to the hundreds or something. You know, I'd kind of be making videos and getting the same views I'd get like a month before, except this time I have 4,000 subs that aren't clicking on my videos. So I was struggling still, right? Because I gained all these subs and I was like, okay. By the time, when I gained all those subs in one day, I was like, okay, so I've made it. So every time I make a video now, it's just gonna do well. And obviously that wasn't the case, right? A few months went by and, you know, my channel was doing on and off, all right? I started a live show, like a more like scheduled live show. It was called RFC Live. I started it with my friend Connor, my friend Ben, and then eventually we brought on, two of those are my IRL friends. Eventually we brought on Gamer J Lee, because I
was gonna mention him.
I had known him from the Tommy C community, and he watched the show or whatever. He called in at one point, and I was like, you know, you've got a good voice or something. Why don't you just do this with us or something? He was like, all right, I'm down. So we'd start RC Live, and the viewership we would get on those would range from like 5 to 10 to 20. It was basically the same where I was at a year prior, right? And it would always frustrate me because I'm like, I'm gaining all these subs. Even some of my videos are doing better, but like my streams, like nobody's tuning into this shit. Like it's the same viewers that I had before, like a year later. And so that would always blow me away. Like I was always like, and I'm still like this to this day, right? I'm very boomer when it comes to YouTube. Like if something works and then I do it again and it doesn't work, I'm always like confused. I'm like, what? Like why? Like I don't get, like it doesn't. YouTube is such a strange thing, right? You
didn't really know why it even did well. You just were like, oh well, this one did well. Like I might as well try it again. Yeah,
that's basically like my that was my strategy. Even like a year later, I made another video about grade. It was basically like a more refined version of that video, and it got like 30K views or something. But you know, I was basically,
it wasn't the same.
Yeah, it wasn't the same exactly. So I was kind of flopping around and doing shit. And something happened this summer that really fucked my channel over. There was this troll. It was my first time with a troll, right? It was this kid named Wesley, right? And he did not like me. He was an IRL friend of one of my internet friends.
Oh, shit.
So he kind of like, he was kind of an asshole. And he decided one morning to like bot my channel with like 5,000 botted subs just to like try and get me banned or something, right? So I remember I woke up one morning, right, and my channel was at like 9,000 subs. And instead of being happy, I was like, I instantly knew it was bullshit. I was like, there's no way. I looked at my videos, none of my videos were doing well. So I was like, okay, obviously, I checked to see like if it was a shout out, then I'd probably have a lot of comments saying, we came here from this guy or something. So I didn't have, like, my comment section was completely dead. My views were dead. So I was like, okay, this is obviously an attack. And sure enough,
that's why you made a new channel? Is that it?
I did make a new channel, yeah, because even when the bots, my channel was botted for a month, but then the next month, every day the bots would unsub, but they would unsub in like intervals of like 100.
Oh, I see.
So for like a month straight, my channel was bleeding 100 subs a day until finally all the bots were gone. So because I lost that many subs for a month straight, YouTube thought my channel fucking sucked. So my videos that were already struggling were just, they were going out to nobody. Like, I think I uploaded a video once, right? And in the first hour, it literally said no views. And I was like, holy shit, dude. That's, even for me, dude, that's a little bit unnatural. That's a little bit insane. So I made a new channel, which is the AugieRFC channel. And initially, I was just going to like, it was like more of a side project. I was just going to post videos over there and just see how that does. And that's kind of when I started streaming more over there. And then
I remember around that time, I think you described this problem to me during the the Turkey Tom interview, which I'll probably play a clip of in this video once I get it edited. But
oh, we're kind of doing a remix of that. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this. It's like I'm flipping it on you.
Oh shit.
You know, years later, because I remember I had followed you on Twitter, and I had seen that Tommy C followed you already, I think. So I was like, okay, well, this guy's probably cool. Because I had seen your video, but I was kind of wary of people at the time because I was in a lot of drama. I had just like blown up like a few months prior. I had gone from like 13K to like 55K subs or something like that. And I got a bunch of shit for this video I made, and some tweets I had made about a YouTuber named Spechy. Speechy, I don't know how you'd say her name now. I don't know what she's up to. Anyway, I was kind of wary, but I saw your channel. I was like, all right, this kid's kind of like me. He's probably cool. So I followed you. And then some shit like Dylan Thomas came after me, and because you were in the Sonic community, you knew who he was. And so you were like, okay, why don't you come on and talk about it? And I don't think we even talked about that. I think we just did more of an interview. I think I was like, I don't want to give him attention or some shit was what I said at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I ended up going on your stream, and we talked for probably 2 hours, I think. It wasn't like a short stream or anything. And I think there were like 4 or 5 people watching maybe. But I remember having a lot of fun there, and I was like, all right, Augie seems all right. He's a cool guy. I'll keep him in the back of my brain. One of the real ones. But then I watched some of your videos, and I don't remember. I feel like you had kind of like fallen out of like my like, you know, like the YouTube consciousness, like people you think about on YouTube frequently. Like I feel like I hadn't thought about you for a while until I found out about After Hours being live, and I saw that you were getting like probably like 80 to 100 viewers consistently, and that's when I started watching you like consistently as like a thing. Because before then it was just like you post videos, and I was like, yeah, that's whatever. I don't really give a shit. I didn't really think your videos then were very good, but once you started streaming, I was like, okay, there's actually something to this. There's something here. So that's kind of when I started really getting into your stuff. Do you want to talk about kind of like what your mentality was when starting After Hours and where you wanted it to go and your aspirations and stuff like that?
After Hours is a really interesting project for me because it was basically my last desperation project, right? So at this point at my channel, so it was like December 2018, right? Red Fox.
How old were you? Like 17, 16?
2018. I would have been 17.
Okay.
So Red Fox Comms is basically dead at that point. My other channel, AugieRFC, that I'd started, it had like 100 subs. I would stream games on there sometimes. I didn't really do anything with that, so that was really going nowhere. So I was just kind of at a point where I was like, I remember we always go on this, like me and my family always go on this trip every like Christmas to like, see my extended family, you know. So I remember I was just taking a walk by myself, like around like some woods or something, and I was just kind of thinking about like just brainstorming. Like I always said like, okay, I'm gonna do YouTube until I graduate high school, and then I'm gonna see where I am. Well, I mean, I graduated in 6 months, and I'm kind of nowhere right now. My dick's kind of just in the dirt. I'm not really doing anything. I'm just kind of like just sitting here, like, okay, this kind of sucks.
You didn't have a job, right? You didn't like work like a retail job or anything like that?
I've never had a job. Never had a job. So, I mean, obviously at that point I was gonna have to. I was looking into that and stuff. I was like, okay, well, I mean.
So were you like, this is like ride or die? Like I got to make this my job, or I'm just not gonna have time to do it. Was it that?
Yeah, I was kind of just like, well, I wasn't one of those people that was like, I need to be a YouTuber, otherwise I'll kill myself because I don't want to work a job. Like I was fine working a job. I was just thinking, I'm like, really, I have only 6 months left. If I want to do YouTube, I really only have this limited time frame left to sort of like, do it, because after that I am gonna have to get a job, and I'm probably not gonna have time for YouTube anymore. And if I've tried YouTube for several years and it's gone nowhere, what's the point of continuing? So basically, and it sounds really doomer, right? I wasn't really doomer about it. I was just more realistic. I was like, look, I mean, this is just the way things are. Maybe it's just not for me. Whatever, that's fine. But I will try one last thing. So I started the show After Hours, and the original idea of the show was I would make videos every day on Red Fox Comms, but then I would tell people to come over to my other channel where I stream. And I thought my main channel was fucked, so it was basically just like, let me bring the remaining bit of my main channel audience over to this other channel and start something.
Whatever
up over
scraps
here.
I can scrounge up, I gotta get to go over to the real channel. Okay.
Exactly. So I started After Hours, and the first few episodes were very casual. There was no planned topics. It was just kind of me going on there being like, hey guys, so this happened. It was more like just chatting streams with the chat. And then we did a few of those, and then episode 6, the Just Destiny Lieutenant Cobra controversy happened, right?
Right.
And that was like the first time I actually felt like heated about like a drama.
Episode 6, were you doing it like nightly or weekly at this point?
I was doing it weekly.
Okay, so 6 weeks in, the Just Destiny drama happens, which was, I believe, so basically he was making videos about like this 13-year-old did this, and he'd have like a picture of them in like a crop top in the thumbnail or something. And the argument was that he was like sexualizing kids. And so Cobra made a video where he was like, did he call him a pedo or just a nonce? I don't really remember.
He made jokes. He was jokingly. He was like, yeah, this guy probably, you don't want to check his hard drive or something like, it was just stuff like that.
But the video got DMCA'd, I believe, right?
Yeah, Destiny struck it down. And the crazy thing about that to me at the time was I was like, I was coming off the Bloodsports high, right? So I was like, holy shit, we've got our own Mundane Matt story, right? This could be huge. And I was also like genuinely like interested in it. And I was so into it. That was like the first time I'd actually cared about like a drama in like ages. I was like, oh shit, dude, this is something I actually care about. This is some crazy shit right here. So I covered it with Boblax, because Boblax was somebody I was just getting familiar with, right? I just met him like a month prior. We had done a few streams together anyway, and I was like,
was he making videos at that point? Was he making like his like, it wasn't Twitter versus, he was making like the compilation videos, right?
Yeah, he was doing half the compilations, and I think he was doing his own original commentary stuff at that time. And he had about like 6,000 subs or whatever, so more than me, but not by much. So basically, I hit up Boblax. I'm like, look, he's a commentator of comparable size to me. He's somebody I've done streams with for a minute now. I think we have good chemistry. So I was like, I hit up Boblax and I was like, yeah, dude, you want to hop on stream and talk about this? And he was so down. And we did the episode. And at the time, I thought it was really good. And obviously, we only had like 15 viewers or something there. But I was like, damn, this is that.
That was this stream on Destiny had 15 viewers?
Yeah.
I see. Was Cobra on the stream at any point, or was it just you guys talking about it?
He might have been. I can't remember.
Right. Okay. So you had 15 people watching.
I think he was in the chat. I think he was in the chat. I don't think he called in.
Right. You had 15 people watching. You're doing the show. You find out you really like it. When did you realize, like, or what drama, what time period? Because that was February 2019. At what time did you realize that, like, okay, there's actually a lot of people interested in this. I feel like there's something going here.
Well, so after we did episode 6 with Boblax, I asked Boblax, I'm like, do you want to do this like permanently or something? And he was down. So now I have an established podcast with, with another commentator. So we were just going to truck along. And then 2 episodes later, episode 8, Keemstar called in. Now, this was around the time me and Tom were having like drama, right? I forget what it was. It was something like Tommy was like, he was chimping at Tipster. And around that time, I took Tipster's side during that. So I basically was like, Tommy, this is really cringe. And then me and Tommy had like a big back and forth. And Tommy was basically saying he was going to like do a stream on me or something, right? So in response, I did a preemptive stream before Tommy's stream. And I was like, let me just lay out like my arguments against Tommy C. So I'm doing that, right? And during that stream, we're like 30 minutes in and I'm going on my rant about Tommy C. Keemstar wants to call in. And I can't even remember if I don't even know how the fuck he came there. I don't even know. Honestly, to this day, I don't even know. But Keemstar just shows up. He wants to call in. And at that point, I started like shitting myself. Like, obviously I wasn't like showing it on stream, but privately I was like, oh shit, dude, this is what is going on now. Like I'm doing a stream on Tommy C to like 20 viewers. Keemstar's here. How the fuck did that happen? What's going on?
Right.
So we bring him on, and it ends up being a 2-hour, kind of just chill fest with Keemstar. He's roasting people. He's roasting people on the show. I think him and Boblax went at it. Nick called in. Nick debated Keemstar for like 30 minutes. That was Nick's first like debate, and that was kind of my first interaction with Nick. I mean, I'd interacted with him before, but that was kind of my first like on the show Nick interaction. So I got introduced to Keemstar and Nick on the show at the same time. I'm like, wow, this is some fire ass content. I mean, this is some good shit. So
did you have like increased viewership from that? Was there like maybe 50 people watching?
We went from like 20 to 100.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 100, that's like a solid number.
And a couple people dropped. Yeah, and a couple people dropped $100 donations too. So like I had made a couple $100 that night. That was more money than I've made total on Red Fox Comms. I'm like, holy shit, there's something to this. At that point, that's when it sparked. I was like, okay. So then we started doing the show daily, and later on we ran into Instagram Wake Up, which was kind of a low. Then we immediately had Susie Lou right after that, which was a really big high. And then right after that, we had the I'm Alex stuff.
So you had Susie Lou. That wasn't when John made the video, right?
No, that was a year before.
That was way before. Okay. That was when like Nick made his video on her, right?
Yeah.
That time. Okay.
But the point is like we have this show with Keemstar very early on. It makes my average view count go from like 10 to like 60 to 100 instantly. Because like the next day we went live. We started doing the show daily. Every show we were doing daily was getting like 60 to 80 viewers, which is like way more than I'm used to. I'm like, that's enough to get me partnered if I was on Twitch. I'm like, holy shit, dude, this is fucking nuts. So we keep doing that. And the point is like every month there's like a massive story. I mean, Instagram Wake Up, even though that was a low, that was still a massive story for us. Maybe not a good one, but it was still a big deal.
It got attention.
It got attention, yeah. Then we had Susie Lou. Then we had I'm Alex. Then we had all the NCO shit. And during the NCO drama, I was like literally every stream, I was having like insane content. Like I was like interviewing people and catching them on lies. We had BWC on or whatever. Tro hit me up out of nowhere and he was like, I need to address this on your show. And so I was like, okay. So we did an interview with Tro at the time. I mean, just literally like so many crazy things started happening in like the span of like a month. And I was like, okay, there is like, this is something, you know what I mean? Like now I feel like not only am I establishing myself in the community, but I'm also doing something that I genuinely want to, not making shitty videos. I'm making streams and I'm making memorable moments. I have content, I have guests. I mean,
you had like a community of people that like were like interested in the show.
Yeah.
And, like there was like an investment in it.
The pieces were all forming together at the same time. And I was like, holy shit, dude. And we had like the greatest cast of characters ever, right? You've got me and Bo Blacks who are kind of goofy. You got Nick, who's like this sort of like detective researcher dude or something.
Yeah.
I was like interrogating the shit out of people in my streams. I was asking them hard questions and cornering them and stuff, you know. And
yeah, you were more aggro than I feel. Like you were more aggressive, which kind of made the show. I think at the time it was like a different thing because I think at the time Tommy C was more laid back.
We had made peace with Tommy C, so Tommy C was calling in more, and we had funny bits where Tommy C would call in, and at his point of view, because he's in Germany, it would be like 3 a.m, and he called in. He did this bit once that Bo Blacks woke him up or something, and he was fake arguing with Bo Blacks, and he was like, "Why'd you call me?" And Bo Blacks like, "What? I didn't call you." And he's like, "Why'd you call me?" And it was like he did this bit for like 7 minutes, and it was like funny shit. So even when things were like chill, like there was still funny moments happening. And at that point, I was like, I graduated in like May or something, and I was making at the very least like $600 to like $1,200 a month from the streams, right? Which is not enough to live off of, but that was
it's enough. It might be close to like what you would have been making from like a part-time job.
That was part-time job money. And keep in mind, before I went from making like $20 a month to now I'm making like a few hundred to $1,000 a month. This is like, so everything was like increasing at like an exponential rate. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Right. So things are getting better and better. Just to make sure you're still recording, by the way.
Yeah.
There. Okay. So things are getting better and better for you on YouTube. You're starting to get some viewers. I think this is the time when I started really watching your streams because I had seen them before, but when that stuff happened, there was good content. There was like an investment of topics, and even once some of those dried up, I was still watching because it was like, all right, well now I'm just committed to the show. I like it at this point. There's like a cast. I had known who Bo Blacks was. I think the first video I saw from him was he made this video about the whole Quentin Reviews drama back then called like the weirdest drama I've ever seen or something, and I watched that video from him. So, I know who you guys were. At this point, I kind of already had an audience. I might have had like 80K or something. So I was a little bigger than you guys, but I knew who you were and I was watching you. And I was talking to you guys a little bit, but I think the time that we really started talking quite a bit was around Slazo. And that was that 2019, 2018? Fuck, when was that? Let me check. Where the fuck is this video? Okay, here we go. So, oh wow. So like summer, early summer 2019 was when the Slazo stuff happened. And that's when I remember the content really got good because there was a huge drama in the community. Everyone was talking about it. And now there was also a live show going over like the updates every night. And I remember tuning into your show to be like, oh, what happened next? Because I was also working on my video about it. And I think at that time I told you, I think there's this quote. I don't think I said it in DM. It was probably in call, but I was like some big, because I kind of knew that like stuff was going to come out behind the scenes. And I was like, there's some big drama coming that you're going to want to pay attention to. And you're like, all right, whatever. Because you didn't really know me at the time. And I think it really like blew up in a way that I don't think you expected. I didn't expect it to get as big as it did, but it was definitely a big like community shattering moment when that happened. And it probably increased your viewership quite a bit. I remember around that time you were in like the hundreds of viewers at least.
Oh, with the I'm Alex?
Yeah, like I'm Alex, Slazo, all that shit.
Yeah.
2019.
So I peaked at 500 viewers on a stream when I covered the I'm Alex stuff. And at that point, I was like, okay, dude. I remember Justin Wang was tweeting me. He was like, this guy's the future. So, I mean, things are, at this point, like, things are only going up and up. It's just like, you know, obviously when the I'm Alex stuff died or something, you know, we went back down a little bit. We kind of went back down to averaging like 100 a stream, but it was, you know,
yeah.
I was going from like, you know, 30s, 60s to, you know, now I'm at 100 and maybe like 200 if like the drama was really good that night or something, you know what I mean? So I'm like, and for a channel of my size at the time, keep in mind, like streamers don't really gain as much subs as YouTubers, right? So I'm starting over in a new channel. By the end of the I'm Alex stuff, I'd walked away with 1,700 subs on my channel. So I'm still a 1K sub channel, but I'm known. And I'm capable of getting guests, and my streams have good viewership. So my channel size is small, but my impact and my viewership was up. So
there was exclusive content to that drama too that was only on your stream, like the bunny girl or whatever that Bo Blacks was dating at the time.
Yeah.
That was like a thing. She called in. I think, did I'm Alex call in? I can't remember. I don't think he did.
No, he didn't.
I know he called you guys. He didn't. I remember around the tail end of that stuff, I was like about to hit 100K, and I think you had like 500 viewers live. And I was gaining subs, but you were like I like super chatted or something, maybe like $20 or $50. And I was like, hey Augie, like the streams, and you were like, hey, Turkey Tom's gonna hit 100K soon. Everyone on the stream go sub to him. And then like as that stream was happening, I think I hit 100K. Because of that shout out. You were like, I need every person in here, because I was like 400 or 500 away. You're like, I need every person to go sub. And I think a lot of them already were subbed, but you were like, everyone go sub. And then like an hour or two later, I hit it, and I was like, holy shit, you know, he's got because around that time, I think that's really when your like kind of loyal fan base started to develop, which we can talk about.
Oh yeah, the summer.
Because you kind of had like this, you know, your channel wasn't the biggest, no doubt. Like you weren't pulling like crazy views, like. But for the amount of viewers you had, your audience was super loyal.
Yeah, it was really weird too. So around that time, cause like here's the thing that makes like me. I feel like this is why this happens to me, right? I like directly interact with my community, right? Like I'll like talk to them. I'll if people in my community are funny, then I'll put them on the stream, or I'll turn them into a joke in the chat. Like for instance, we have this one guy in my community. His name's Mike the Bike, and he's just he'll throw $2 donations or something, right? Like every stream, and just say some shit or promote his band or something. And
very talented musical artist. And
oh yeah, he's great. But it's like a joke. I'm like, every time he comes in, we got Mike here coming with the two. You know,
for Mike the Bike.
It wouldn't be it wouldn't be a daily stream if Mike wasn't here or something. You know what I mean? And then we got like this. Smaggle was.
Mike came on a little later though, right?
He was around. He was around a while ago.
Was he? I remember you had some channel memes. I can't remember what they were, but you definitely had like frequent like people in chat who you recognized. Probably like Little Froakie. I think I remember them from back then.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
was that like because your audience is so loyal, is there like any intentionality to like you crafting it that way? Or do you think just because of the way you like, you know, run the show, it just happened to turn out
it's just the way I am, dude. Like I am fascinated by people. I'm an introvert. Like I don't really make myself like the center of attention on purpose or anything like that. Or I don't really actively seek out, you know, people, but when I am forced to interact with people, which technically by streaming, I am forced to interact with my chat, right? So it's like, okay, if I'm forced to, then I might as well figure out who the fuck these people are and like talk to them and like, you know, see like what their story is or something. So, and a lot of my streams, like when it's just myself, it's kind of just me talking to the chat and just talking about life and shit. And people talk about their own shit. So it's kind of, it definitely farms a lot of parasocial relationships, I feel like, you know, where maybe the viewers think, not all of them, but like maybe some of them think they're a little, you know, more involved than they actually are. I mean, it's just a live stream at the end of the day, you know. I'm not claiming to be these people's friends. I'm just, you know, obviously I just, you know, I
think
interact
because of
with
just
them
the way
a
you
lot,
act
yeah.
and like the fact that you feel kind of relatable and like, you know, you're a young guy, you feel kind of real to them. I think because of that, I think you've accrued this like this really die-hard audience of people who like, you know, you may not be the biggest in the community, but you can be sure that, you know, the people that are in your audience are going to watch everything you do.
Yeah. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I actually really like that part. I like the characters, right? I like when we go on stream. It's like, that's my favorite thing about YouTube. I think I told you this a long time ago, right? I feel like the best thing a channel needs is a story to tell by the end of it, right? Like when you're done, when you get banned, or if you just decide to quit it and say, all right, I'm done, have a fucking story to tell by the end of it, right? And I don't know if I have like some grandiose great story to tell, but I definitely have a lot of fucking funny moments, a lot of weird shit that's happening.
Yeah, there's like a lore to your channel.
Yeah, exactly. I like the lore, dude. I'm a big on the story, dude. That's what I'm saying. I feel like you need that.
I've considered multiple times. It would be a big undertaking, but I've taken notes before for like, I didn't tell anyone about it because I didn't want to like influence people's actions with it, but multiple times I've considered basically doing a video about your show and like the arc it's had. In particular, some of the more interesting dramas, because there's stuff that like has happened on your show that's exclusive to it. That would make it like, I feel like I could do like an hour-long video talking about some of the dramas and like their impact.
Dude, even just recently, right? Like you were telling me about this. Apparently I had interviewed the girl, one of the victims of AUGIE that was responsible for getting him locked up. I'd forgotten about that. That happened a year after, or a year before he even got locked up.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I guess I don't know that it was her. I'm pretty positive it's her. But yeah, basically, you had this girl called into your stream. I don't know if you were talking about Amos already, or Amos. People, by the way, in my comment section say I mispronounced his name. I fucking looked up how to say Amos, all right? I looked it up specifically. It's a biblical name. There's one way to pronounce it, and I pronounce it properly. Anyway, so you know, you were talking about him, and this girl called in, and she said this shit, and this guy named For No Good Reason, who I think Medicare had done like a video like bashing on before or something. She called in, and he was listening to it, and eventually he managed to talk to her and compile a bunch of the like evidence and stuff. She reported it to the police, and then Amos got locked up. Yeah, you were like one of the first people she talked to for some reason. She just ran to you to talk to you. Yeah,
and you know, that's just an example of like the crazy stuff that happens, right? It's just like, I didn't plan for that. I didn't know who this person was and reach out to them beforehand and schedule it. It just happened, right? And that's just an example. Like, I feel like you need like that level of like, you know, just lore or something to your channel where it's like something like this could happen, you know?
Well, also to have like a loyal audience like that, you know what I mean? Like, I think that part of the way that sorry, part of the way that's gathered that people don't appreciate is like, they feel like they go through shit with you. Not even just from their personal life, but like watching these events and like being in chat with you and like watching them play out and like seeing developments happen on your show that then gets really big. While you may not gain like, you know, 50,000 subs from the mainstream, seeing that and being like, oh, it's AugieRFC because you don't get credited for it. I think part of the reason why your audience is so loyal is because they see it and they're like, oh shit, like we're like part of this. It's like we're in like a club. It's like exclusive, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I
don't think everyone has that.
I didn't gain anything when H3 used my stream in his content nuke against Keemstar.
Right.
Like, I didn't really gain anything.
But your audience seeing that is like, holy shit, he's on H3. Yeah. Like, this guy is someone we need to pay attention to.
Exactly.
Even subconsciously. Yeah, so you kind of develop this really loyal audience. And you're saying, like, I'd assume, maybe this is a dumb question, but have you ever thought, like, what if I did it the other way? What if I just kind of, like, made videos and streams, didn't really interact with the audience, I just kind of did my own thing? Like, have you ever wanted that? Have there been times when your community has pissed you off and you've been like, fuck these people, I don't want this? Or have you always been, like, pretty diehard, like, this is what I want and I'm glad I have it?
I would say around, let me think about this, around late 2019. So this is kind of going back to into my story, right? So
yeah,
after the I'm Alex stuff, you know, my channel, like I passed 500 views and I was doing great or whatever. Well, the I'm Alex stuff died. And then we were sort of in like a drama drought, kind of similar to the one we're in right now, if you really think about it. But sort of like,
I feel like, honestly, maybe we can talk about this. I don't feel like there's that much of a drama drought, but we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about that. It's certainly, like, it was a similar situation where it's like, yeah, stuff would happen every now and again, but it wasn't like we had come off of like 5 awesome stories in a row. So now it's like August 2019. And for the next 5 months, there wouldn't really be a major story until the Onision, Chris Hansen stuff kicked up in 2020, in January. So for 5 months, you know, my view count remained consistent. We would average 100 views, but things weren't really going anywhere. I was kind of struggling to fill shows like with topics to the point where I started like canceling some shows a lot because there just wasn't enough to talk about. And when I would do that, this was around, it's gonna sound weird to say now, back then, but I would get really depressed if I had to cancel a show because I'd be like, what the fuck? I feel like I'm failing or something, you know what I mean? But if there just wasn't...
Because you just got all this attention and then it kind of, you know...
Yeah, exactly.
You still had some, but it kind of went away quickly and it was like, well, fuck, now I don't have anything to talk about. Is that it? Like, is that the greatest I'll do?
Yeah, and I started panicking, so I started thinking, I'm like, all right, this show's not, you know, stable or consistent. I need to make videos again or something like that. So I tried making videos again, and the more I made videos, because like in my head at the time when I was panicking, I was like, if only I was a video creator and I could just have consistent shit to talk about for 10 minutes instead of having to fill 2 hours, it would be so much easier, right? But then I started making more videos again. I booted up Red Fox Comms. I started posting videos on there. Eventually, I just started posting them to just the same channel, AugieRFC. But it just wasn't doing it for me, man. Like, streaming is just so much fucking better for me. It's so much...
Yeah, because you did videos for a while. You had a few kind of blow up, like Child Abuse Live on Twitch. But it seems like you kind of... Yeah, now you're kind of back to like, I just want to do stream clips and streams because that's really what I like to do.
Yeah, and the stream clips kind of happened more recently. I've been debating about doing stream clips for years, but a couple months ago, I just said, fuck it. Let's just run these and see how that goes. And it's the best decision I've ever made. I mean, it's just so much... I feel like my content is
They seem
so
to be
much
doing better anyway.
Yeah, they are doing better, actually, than like the news video type stuff or like the, let me sit down for 10 minutes in front of the camera and talk. I mean, that was my original format, but I'd rather do that live. It's more natural that way, you know? It makes more sense to me.
Right, okay. All right, so you're kind of done with like video content in that way. I know you
I'm
talked
done
about
with video
do,
content, but like in terms of like short form, like, you know, I guess like Jalen type stuff, you know what I mean? But one thing I'm going to be transitioning more in the near future is like the sort of like doc stuff that you, Nick, or like John Swan.
Yeah, because you like writing a lot, right? Like that's one of your passions. You like that stuff.
Yeah. And nobody's really ever like seen me write before because I've never really had a reason to do it on YouTube. I mean, I've never had
the only thing I remember you writing that you posted was you made in this twice actually. You used to do these little write-ups, like you did one when the D'Angelo Wallace thing happened. Yeah. You did like a write-up about like the commentary community and the N-word and being edgy or whatever. You did like a video about that. And you know that wasn't bad. I remember reading that at the time being like, okay, this guy can actually, you know, write, especially for someone who is making his living not writing at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have plans to do kind of like doc stuff or like essays, whatever you want to call it?
So I'll give you a little teaser about what I'm working on right now. The idea is still a little bit foggy, but basically what I want to work on is I'm trying to work on like a 6 to 10 chapter video where it's like a manifesto on like, because like everybody says right now, the internet is boring, the internet sucks or something. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it'll probably get really bad pretty soon. But as of right now, I don't think the internet's like that bad. But I hear people say this all the time. And you know, you have the Keemstar quitting, which is insane. Like that's like...
I don't think he's really going to quit.
I don't think so either, but the sentiment is there, right? He's making videos saying, the internet sucks, the internet's boring. You know, he's parroting parroting what a lot of other people are saying in the community and stuff like that. So I not that I agree with that fully. I do agree with like some sentiments that are being said though. So what I want to do is I want to make a video that's like a 10 chapter video on everybody that I place responsible for the internet like going the way that it's gone, which is a pretty ambitious project. I don't know how I'm going to tie it all together, but basically I'm aiming for like it probably end up being like an hour and a half to 2 hours long or something. So that's a longer term project that I'm working on. I don't expect to get that out until like hopefully before next VidCon if it's in June again. So
yeah, it seems like an ambitious project, but definitely looking forward to getting that underway. Are you trying to learn like the Adobe suite and all that, so you know how to like do graphics and stuff?
Yeah,
you can do a little bit of that right now.
I'm trying to switch over to. I've been using Vegas, and I'm trying to switch over to Adobe. Even though I don't like Adobe because the shortcuts for Adobe make my hand cramp. They're just like mapped in a really weird way, and I don't like it at all. But I'm trying to like. I'm sure you can customize that. I'm trying to just get used to it because I'm sure I thought the same thing about Vegas when I first started using it, but Vegas is just too unstable. It's too unreliable. So I'm trying to like learn that. Basically, like I have 2 goals for this project. One goal is to get more familiar with editing, like just like learn more about it, learn how it works, like get more comfortable with it and sort of like start to develop my own styles. But the other goal that I have with this project is just to point to something and say like, hey, I'm capable of that, you know? Because I mean, I think my content's great now, but I want to have like a polished project that took, you know, a lot of time and production to make. And I want to point to that and be like, you know, yeah, I do make content that's like this or whatever, but I can also do this, you know? Like I can also make this. Why not expand my skill set a little, you know?
That's part of why I'm doing you know, what's being uploaded, or where I should say where this clip thing will eventually be uploaded, interview. TomDark, because you know I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it, and there's kind of like a new challenge with it that like, okay, well I've shit on these people in the past, I wonder if I can do it better than I think any of them. And I'm not trying to get too egotistical about it, but I do think I do it better than most like reaction commentary people. I think I think that's bring something unique to it in terms of topics. Yeah, I
mean I think I smoke all the daily channels out the ass. I think and maybe that's egotistical, but I just think my commentary, like I feel like I have more to say than just the average opinion, you know? Like if I'm doing a video on William Osmond, for instance, like a lot of people who do like daily videos, they're gonna say stuff like, oh, well, he should get a tougher skin, however, negative comments are bad. You know, that's like the normie commentary. Whereas with me, I'm like, no, this guy fucking sucks because he threatened to like dox of it. You know, go into like the more like nitty gritty of it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll say you kind of have like when shit really feels real to you, you kind of get into it, and that's something that Kavas used to do, and I think he stopped for a while. He wants to get back into it, I think, but there's this like visceral, like no one will just say like fuck this piece of shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you will. Yeah. Okay.
I do think my time on YouTube is limited though, and
it's limited.
We were talking about this a little bit before the interview or something, but I think my style of content, like the live streams and stuff, I feel like it just opens the door to too much like visceral content that I feel like someday like some journo or maybe even YouTube themselves will just be fed up with. Like I feel like I'm gonna make a video on the wrong person one day and they're going to just fucking hit up their contact and just have me easily wiped. I mean,
well, people have, I'd assume, tried before. I mean, Susie Lou definitely has YouTube contacts and definitely fucking hates you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember back in, I don't know exactly when this was. It might have been like a year ago.
I feel like
I kind of got the
Susie Lou,
shit scared out of me.
I think, maybe I shouldn't say this publicly, but I feel like if Susie Lou had the right material to work off of, she could have succeeded in that, honestly. I feel like the reason why she failed is just because she was like, well, he's mean to me, and he said my forehead was big. It's like, realistically, if you look at my channel, I've said way worse things than your forehead is big. So I feel like if she came out with, like, if she was more smart or strategic about it, I'm comfortable saying this now because, like, the topic's dead. I doubt Susie Lou is gonna fucking randomly just be like, fuck that guy, I'm gonna try again or something, you know? But I feel like one day I'm gonna make a video on the wrong person and they're just gonna fucking clip what they need to clip, and then it's probably gonna be.
So you think someone, if they really watch your stuff and pay attention, could make the case to YouTube that you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even back in the day, dude. Back in like 2019, I got canceled for the first time once, right? There was this story that I covered, and it was Jake Paul, apparently, it was getting under bad press for kicking some transgender people out of his house because he thought they were like of their biological, like he thought they were biological, I don't know what the story was. He thought they were biological women, but they were like trans men or something like that. So he was like, get the fuck out of here. And he said something along the lines
was he like
of,
trying to bring some girls over to fuck them?
Yeah, he found out they were trans. He was like, get the fuck out.
Okay.
He's like, I think he said something extreme. He's like, I only want like the real deal, or so he said something like that. And I had played that story in After Hours, and my coverage of that, I was just laughing. I thought it was hilarious or something, right? And I remember a comment, like somebody like clipped that and posted it on Twitter, and it got like 1,000 likes, and people were like, holy shit, Augie is transphobic as fuck. And I'm like, okay. It kind of gave me like a glimpse into like the future, because like obviously I didn't mean anything by what I said. I just thought the story was fun. And I mean, objectively, it is hilarious, right? Jake Paul bringing people in and then kicking them out because he thought, you know, he thought he was getting one thing and getting the other. I mean, there's nothing hateful about finding that, you know, hilarious, but it doesn't matter, right? I feel like if people view things one way, I mean, it's really just up to whoever interprets it the wrong way. And whoever has,
framing
like,
is a big thing, because like I feel like it's kind of a funny joke, like to be like, oh, I wanted to fuck this girl and it turns out, you know, they had a dick. Like I feel like that's kind of a funny thing that
it's
most people,
objectively
even in the
funny
trans community,
scenario.
would laugh at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Honestly, I think you're gonna be fine. If I'd start worrying if someone like Destiny gets banned on YouTube anytime soon, which I think he's somewhat wary of a little bit.
He's been talking about that recently, getting that whole NFT thing. He was like, look, I'm just trying to make my money, get the fuck out before I get banned. I almost feel like somebody tapped him on the shoulder and told him his time is up pretty soon, and he's kind of making the most of what he's got for now. But that's just a conspiracy theory. I don't know.
Yeah, conspiracy for now. Yeah, I'm curious kind of how that's going to go for him. I think as long as he's okay, which I think he's got at least a few more years, I think you'll be fine too. I don't think you're a malicious guy. I know you get edgy sometimes, but I know you don't have any genuine.
Oh, I don't have
pissing off YouTube.
This isn't me trying to be like, you know, a cuck or something. You're like trying to cover my. I don't have a hateful bone in my body. I mean,
But not even that. You just don't want to piss off like YouTube. Like you just like you. I don't think you have an interest in doing something that would get you banned or give them bad.
No, I'm not gonna try. I just feel like it's the way I see the internet going now. I feel like it's most likely it would be wise for me to just accept like that this will probably be my fate, rather than get surprised if it actually ends up happening. I don't know. I'm a little bit doomer about that, but who knows? Things could turn around. The way I see things going now, it's not painting a good picture for me. I've kind of been thinking about that a lot recently in particular, so we'll see where it goes.
Well, hopefully the future is bright. We don't know. But for now, how are things going with YouTube? You just came back from, well, I guess we all just came back from VidCon like a week and a half ago. You started streaming again, posting videos. I know you've had some IRL stuff kind of getting in the way of that, but how's your outlook like, you know, going into next year with YouTube? How do you feel about it?
Well, even though my outlook is doomer for the grand future, for next year in particular, I'm actually very positive about next year. I think not even just for me, I think for me, you, and some other people, it's going to be a very fruitful year. I don't know. I feel like the energy's in the air. I feel like people are ready for like a new wave, and you know.
Yeah, we've been talking about this a little bit behind the scenes. I know we kind of have aspirations at bringing it back, because obviously, I think part of the reason I think I wanted to do my second channel so much is because as far as my main channel goes, I'm kind of moving away from like traditional commentary, right? It's been a little bit since I've really done like a drama video. My videos really now are more like talking about public figures, and even with the subjects like AUGIE is the most kind of like mainstream out there subject I've covered, and I'm going to continue going in that direction. Like I have plans to make videos about like movie directors and shit like that, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I like doing it. My audience likes it. Clearly, you know, they're doing well. I mean, my Isabella Janke video has 600K views. My Virgin Test video has almost 400K. I mean, you know, the recent videos I'm posting, my Dolly Flesh video, a video about, like, nothing drama related about that. It's like a true crime kind of video. That video has almost 500K, so it's like, you know, you can see that my audience, you know, likes that stuff, and that's, you know, the direction that channel's gonna go. But I kind of also, it's like, fuck, you know, I can't get this commentary fucking thing out of me. Like, it's still in me. I want to talk about YouTube drama. I love that shit.
Just talk about what you want, man. There's no reason to limit yourself arbitrarily. I mean, why?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm limiting myself arbitrarily. It's mostly just like the creative direction that my main channel is going in is just different from commentary. So that's kind of, I was like, okay, well, I have the time. Why don't I just do 2 channels? And so far it's going pretty well, making pretty good money. People seem to like it. It's doing better than I thought it would. Obviously I'd like it to do, continue to do better. Maybe videos like this won't exactly help necessarily, because I think people mostly just want commentary videos, but I want to be a little more experimental with it. I'm trying to do like 4 or 5 like drama videos a week where I like talk about like a thing that's happening, or I react to something. And then I want to do 1 or 2 videos that are like, I'm going to read comments, or I'm going to read these dumbass emails, or I'm going to just like talk to a YouTuber. Like I recorded a video with technicals, which should be coming out probably next week or something. That's pretty interesting. So I'm trying to bring the community together more.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we've been talking about this, but you've kind of been doing that and like living off of like the existence of the community for a while. That's kind of your thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Because I remember you get jaded once in a while. Around the John Swan thing, you were like, I think I'm going to be kind of moving away, but you're still, you're still.
No, every now and again, somebody does something really weird, and I'm just kind of like, eh. But then I just kind of stay. I don't know. I get kind of jumpy on Twitter when it comes to the community stuff. I mean, I like community, but I don't. There's positives and negatives being associated to a community. So the positives are like, you have a bunch of people who share similar interests, who talk about similar things. I mean, we all know if multiple channels are covering the same topic and you also jump in on that, you're going to benefit because there's like a much larger audience that's now interested in the same topic. Like if I make one random one-off video on something, it's going to get less attention than if I'm making a video on a topic that everybody else is covering. Even if I'm later to the story, it's still a topic of interest, obviously. That's the reason why people are covering it, right? So that's kind of why community benefits you. It's easier to grow with other people around you, helping you out. But on the other hand, community kind of brings a lot of like baggage or whatever, where, there's the guilt by association. So if somebody does something really weird, then you're kind of like, oh, well, you're in that community. Didn't you know this person in that community also did this? It's like, that's kind of a bullshit criticism, but it's kind of something that you'll get anyway. But that doesn't really bother me.
And part of it's also like, I think part of it, this is a problem you had when you were smaller. I don't think you have it anymore because your audience is big enough and you've gotten some loyal viewers. But I think the issue used to be like when there's a lot going on in the community, you're going to get a lot of people watching your stuff. And, like during Slazo. And then when there wasn't, like you dip 400 viewers. Yeah. Whereas now, like you're pretty consistent. You kind of have your own. Yeah.
I mean, I streamed Mario Party yesterday with no drama. We were just talking about Mario Party and we had like 600 viewers, which was like surprising.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm still kind of blown away by the fact that like you can just stream bullshit and get like, it's not the same exact amount of views, but it's pretty close to an after hours, Yeah. There have been streams you've done where it's just gaming and you'll have like 1,500 people watching. Mm-hmm. It's cool to see that someone has that loyal of an audience and can do it still. I don't know what envious, but I'm very like, I admire that a lot in your content, that you're able to do that.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really cool because like a lot of what I've been doing recently is sort of going back to my roots. Like I've been playing a lot of Sonic and even talking about it on stream. I'm playing a lot of Nintendo, and we talked a lot about Nintendo. I did a segment yesterday on the new GTA game or something. So, I started as gaming, went full. I said, fuck gaming, I'm doing commentary. And now I'm in a position where I can sort of reintroduce elements of my past, but in a more natural way, like where I'm like enjoying it. I love talking about like childhood stuff on stream. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I've noticed that you kind of like talking about personal experiences and personal stories, which used to be a big part of commentary. If you remember, I shouldn't say if you remember.
And I don't even have like that interesting of a fucking life to tell. It's not like I'm like telling you guys like the stories
but no
from
one
Vietnam,
does. Like, no like white kid from like a middle class home is gonna have like all these crazy stories. It's like. But like Luna blew up off just like his first time smoking weed.
Yeah,
like 100
first time
times.
Smoking weed. Yeah.
100 times he's done that.
Yeah, he blew up from that, and then his teacher sucked me off, fighting homeless men in the street.
Yeah, dude. I remember watching those videos being like, fuck, when's my teacher gonna suck me off?
Yeah, his teacher like sucked him off, but based on the amount of videos he's made about that, when was he doing school? Like when was class even taking place? The amount of times he was getting sucked off.
When does he have time to do anything but get sucked off and like get handies on like a couch with some random girl
and
who's like
battle homeless people and do like fucking crack for the first time like 20 times and all that. It's like
I remember one of Hey Watch Your Mouth's last like videos that he made that kind of did well was it was like a video like parody of Luna. And in the video, he was like, and my fucking dad came in and starts jerking me off and sucking me off. Dude, and then the fucking teacher comes in smoking weed. And that was like one of my favorite videos.
Dude, that guy was so good, dude. And his fucking style of comedy was exactly my shit. I wish he was still around. I mean, he is, but
yeah, he was really funny. He was really funny. It's too bad that he kind of, I don't know. He got ratioed and fell off, but I was talking to Tommy about this the other day. He told me that he thinks the reason he's kind of okay, I got to give a little more context to this. Back when the Pyro stuff happened, I had a video that was set to come out that I had finished, and then Pyro uploaded his response the next day, and I was like, there's no way I can post this. But the video was basically, it was talking about Hey Watch Your Mouth, Sinnoh, and Lieutenant Corbus, and Wild Spartans. And it was like, I had like a 5-minute segment on each of them, and I was like, this is where they were, this is where they ended up. And I talked to Tommy about it at the time, and he kind of told me, he was like, I think the reason Hey Watch Your Mouth kind of fell so hard is like, he dished a lot of shit, and then after the Leafy thing, not only could he not keep his audience, but he just couldn't take the banter, you know? Like, he couldn't handle it mentally for some reason. And that kind of sucks, because he was really fucking funny back in the day. He was one of my favorites in terms of, like, watching to get a laugh.
yeah, no,
right?
I definitely think that's the case. I mean, I have sort of like, I'm not going to go into full detail, but I remember somebody randomly in my comments on Twitter like a year ago or whatever, it was like talking shit about Hey Watch Your Mouth in my comments. And keep in mind, he didn't follow me. I think he does follow me now, but he didn't follow me at the time, but he DM'd me or whatever. He's like, what the fuck? Why is this guy talking shit? Like, not getting mad at me, but he was just kind of like, man, he was kind of, yeah, and he kind of went a little bit doomer mode, you know. I'm not going to go into any details, of course, but like, I don't know. I felt bad for the guy. I was just like, damn, like, you know, like, I could not.
It's too bad, because he was one of the guys that I figured, like, sometimes you'd watch a commentator back then and be like, all right, I don't know where the fuck this guy's going to end up. I thought he was going to, like, continue to, like, have, like, a relevancy for, like, years. Like, I thought he was going to be, like, a YouTuber. But for some reason, he just couldn't turn it into, like, a consistent thing, and now his channel's fucking dead. He had, like, I think over 300K at his peak. Right now, he's got under 200. He's got like 175K. Like, he's lost so many subs. It's very sad. If you're watching this, Nick from Hey Watch Your Mouth, you're a funny fucking guy. Please, like, make commentary videos again that are good. Because maybe just make a new channel, because your channel's kind of fucked right now, I think. But yeah, I really like that guy. Yeah, it probably is. I know he got like demonetized a lot back in the day. He thought that he was like losing subs.
I think he's
something
fully demonetized. I don't think they let him even like run ads or super chats or anything.
Yeah, his streams were good too. He was funny on those. He used to stream on YouTube pretty frequently. I remember. Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you have an optimistic outlook. I definitely do going into the next. I think going into next year, like right now in terms of money, I'm having I think my best month on YouTube ever. And I think hopefully the money will continue, but also just like outside of the money, like now that money is not a thing I really have to worry about because I'm making I'd say quite a bit for someone my age. Now it's like I can turn my mindset more to like there's a community I want to build, there are things I want to do, there's a kind of content I want to create, and I have like a vision for it, and I think I'm doing it right now. And that's kind of I think that's your mentality too, but definitely I'm like optimistic about the future because like I think I'm going to be getting my own apartment soon and all that shit. So definitely I'm very, very pumped for the near future. You have your own apartment, which you got from YouTube money. I thought that was cool. Has your life like considerably improved since you moved out?
Oh yeah, I'd say so for sure. I don't know. I mean, I was about as close, like I say that in the past, obviously I am. I'm about as close to my parents as it gets. And obviously I'm very close to my siblings or whatever. So I didn't move because I was like, fuck my family, I'm heading out. I just needed my own space, dude. I was sharing a small room with my brother. I had to stream in the closet. It's like cramped, dude. It's like the walls are like right next to my like shoulders or something. So it's like so claustrophobic. I'm just like, and there's like no natural light in there too. It's like all artificial light. And I just was like, I need my own space. I need to stretch, Like I need my own fucking space. I need my own fucking house. And honestly, it's just nice. Like, yeah, I bring my friends over all the fucking time. We have a good time or something. It's just nice to have like a base where we can all just like, oh, head on over to my place. Let's just kick it or something. Play some Smash. I don't know. It's just so much more.
Sorry, I just got a text. Yeah, for someone who is who's like in the commentary scene, you seem to have more of like a social life than I think I would expect from you.
I have a very, very small friend group, but I'm very sociable, I guess. I don't know, with them at least. I don't know. I keep my group very small because there's just very few people I can kind of like bullshit with. Like a lot of people are nice, but I just can't like connect with them or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel
You and Nick were very easy to bullshit with though at VidCon.
Yeah, that was fine. My social skills have definitely improved, but definitely like I feel like I was really social when I was younger, like middle school, and then kind of around high school, I got really into this internet shit, and I just didn't give a fuck. So yeah. I've had the same friend group. What the fuck is going on? Someone getting raped? Okay, I've had the same friend group since I was like, I think 8 or 9. Like I met them when I moved to the town that I am from, I should say, and I've had the same friend group all throughout until high school was over. We still talk. We're still gonna hang out, but. Yeah, definitely it was just them, and then all my other time was just spent like on YouTube shit, because I don't know, I've just always had a good work ethic for that thing, and right now I'm definitely like honing my craft at that, like getting out the most content possible, maximizing my physical and mental abilities with that.
Dude, yeah, the friend group is really nice to have, honestly. Like you need a group of friends. When I mentioned like really early on, like I was like a really weird kid in like grade school and high school or something. I was around senior year. I woke up one day, right? And I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop being a fucking retard. I'm just pull my head on my ass. And then all of a sudden I felt like way more socially comfortable. Like I changed in like a day or something. Cause like before I was very anxious around people. I didn't like, you know, I was just like, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to really, you know, make myself like a known presence to people. And then like one day in senior year, I woke up, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stop caring. It's kind of weird how that happened, but I would say my social skills right now are like selective. Like some people I'm really comfortable with talking to, I'm really open to. Some people I'm just really get it on with. And then other people I'm like a complete retard around. I'm just like, because I just don't know how to talk to them, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have a hard time like, I think meeting new people is kind of a weird thing because I'm not trying to do like a doomer, like, oh, I'm so much better than everyone else, because it's not that. I just genuinely like, what the fuck am I supposed to talk to most people about? You know what I mean? Like, how are we supposed to have a conversation? Like, I'm just, you know, I'm kind of doing my own thing. I'm kind of in my own world as far as that goes. Like, most people I reasonably can just like not have a good conversation with, because like, what the fuck are we gonna relate on? You know? Dude,
I was having a conversation like this with somebody, because they were defending the concept of e-dating to me, right? And they were like, the reason why I e-date is because I have nothing in common with a fucking normie ass like fucking high school girl or whatever. Like I don't fucking or I get. Were they high school? They were like either senior or fucking freshman year of college. But even still, it's like, what do I have in common with these people? You know what I mean? Like, it's not even just like a relationship thing. Like, just in general, it's like, what am I supposed to talk with these people about, right? Like, there's nothing. There's nothing. I'm sure you could pull something out of your ass and establish a connection with somebody with. But it's like, the thing that makes online friendships, and I guess e-dating for a lot of people, so popular is just because, you know, you already have a basis for conversation, right? Like you already, if you're talking to somebody like from a group chat that you're in because you're both YouTubers or because like you're both fans of a YouTuber, you already have something in common. So from that point in conversation, you can go so many different directions, right? I feel like a lot of kids nowadays, like, at this point for them, it's not even like they're socially fucked where they have to resort to online to get friends. I feel like it's more of a preference nowadays. People are just like, I want internet friends because, you know, these people are like, you know, relatable, and I just can't get it on with people in my area.
Yeah, well, part of it's also like I typically just don't. Okay, so like for example, like, you know, I'm you know the kind of music I'm into. It's like rock, hard rock, metal, or whatever, right? So I'll see people like wearing t-shirts or whatever with like the same bands that I like, or they'll see that I have a t-shirt and we'll like talk. And very quickly I realized that like, despite the fact that like we're into the same music, and maybe even some of the same movies, right? Like I just can't talk to this person because we just don't, like, we're not on the same wavelength, you know? Which kind of sucks because it's like, there's all this music I like and I see people walking around that like want to talk to me about it, and sometimes they will. And I'll be like, all right, you know, maybe we can like start a friendship off of this. But like deeper than like a very surface level conversation, typically I just don't, you know, like it's like a struggle. It's like an effort to try to talk to them. And I don't like that. I don't like to have to like really try in social situations to push myself past that. Because realistically, like, if I have to invest more time than I really want to into like trying to be friends with someone, like, I'm just not going to. You know what I mean? Like, I have other things going on. I can't just dedicate all my time to like, oh, maybe I can be her, his friend, because we like the same music, and like struggling to get past that like social barrier of like we don't know each other yet, which I think for me typically takes longer than most people. Like, I just don't. I don't care, man. Like, there's so much to, and also like when they start asking me personal questions, like, I don't like to tell people like my YouTube job and shit, right? Like, I don't want them to like come to my dorm and see my microphone and be like, ooh, what's that? You know, like, I just don't. I feel like YouTube kind of warps people's perception of who you are in a way.
Yeah.
I don't really like that.
For me, I used to be like that when it comes to talking. I don't know what context we're talking, like friends or like whatever.
I mean, if I have a close friend already, then I'll tell them that YouTube channel. But I'm not gonna, like, if someone asks me what I do for a job, I'm like, oh, video editing, and I just don't go beyond that.
Yeah, I used to do that, but I stopped giving a fuck. I don't know. I just figure, you know what? I got nothing to lose. Whatever. So if like the other day or whatever, I was at like the dentist or whatever, you know, and like they were like, well, what do you do for a living? Because they saw that I just recently moved because I had to like update my paperwork or something. And I was like, oh, I do YouTube. And they're like, oh, really? Like, they're like, what's your channel? I'm like, AugieRFC. They're like, what do you talk about? YouTube drama. Like, I just give them like all the wrong answers of what you're supposed to say. Yeah. But, well, I'll usually say something. I don't think I say YouTube drama. I'll say something like, yo, I covered stories on the internet, which is basically not, I mean, that's not even a lie.
That is true.
Yeah,
it's just entertainment news.
Because I don't necessarily cover YouTube drama all the time. Like, I cover a lot of stuff that's not necessarily drama. But yeah, like, I'll just tell them shit, because, like, I figure it's like, these are people I'm probably never gonna see again. It could strike up interesting conversation. Fuck it, just plant the seed there. Just see what happens, just for my own amusement, really, more than anything.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, I think we're gonna wrap this up. We're nearing the 2-hour mark, getting a little long. Got some other videos to make, but Augie, thank you so much for coming on. Before we go, is there anything you wanna say to the TomDarkers out there? Any message you wanna leave them with? Anything you wanna plug?
Hooked.show. Watch
Hooked.show. That's right. We're recording that later tonight.
That's right. Oh yeah, dude. Man, dude, I'm hopping off this interview, which you did for 2 hours. Then I'm gonna go do a stream. Then after that stream, we got the fucking podcast. Like, we are just...
Yeah, I'm gonna be chilling alone making videos for a bit before that.
Yeah.
I can't,
It's a busy day. All right,
like
viewers, you guys are like, YouTube's not a real job. Listen to us right now, all right? We got shit going on, okay?
Yeah, look at how much I grind. I'm sitting at my computer talking into a microphone.
Exactly.
Right? I'm like cutting myself for you people, all right? And putting my personal info out there. I'm bleeding for you, and in return, what do you give me? A comment calling me gay? Really? Did I deserve that? I'd say no.
All right, William Osmond.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Augie, thank you for coming on, and I will see you TomDarkers in the next one. Bye. Watch till the end of my video, but at the end, I have like this meme that Lion Maker died of cancer, and a bunch of people are asking me if he's actually dead. This is gonna be like the Gokunaru thing, where I call him a Jew, and everyone thinks he's Jewish for like months after.
Gokunaru's not Jewish.
No, he's not.
Are you kidding me?
He's not at all. He's
Wait a minute. I've unironically said that Turkey Tom's friends with Gokunaru and he's Jewish.
No, he's not Jewish at all. I spread that lie.
Why did you... Tom, you literally made this video with me and you never mentioned that you were including the fact that Gokunaru is Jewish and that he's not actually Jewish. I did not know that.
No, well, you specifically asked me if he was Jewish, and I was like, oh yeah, he is.
What's wrong with you?
I convinced a lot of people that Ralph the Movie Maker was a furry, and he had to like talk about it on his podcast too.
Wait, is Ralph the Movie Maker not a furry?
He's not.
No, he's not.
I'm being trolled.
What?
What the fuck?
All right, what is Gokunaru's real religion?
Religion? I don't think I don't know if he's really religious, but he's not Jewish. Like,
is he not Jewish?
No, he's not at all.
Why do you have to ask again?
Because I think he's fucking with me.
I'm not fucking with you. He's not a Jew.
No,
he's a real Jew. I know his nose is really. I know his nose is really fucking big, but he's not a Jew.
Wait a minute now, Boblox. What do you mean by that?
Molex is a raging anti-Semite.
Wait,
No, because Nick is like, is he really not Jewish? I'm like, what is?
No, Nick, I swear to you, he is not a Jew.
I think he's fucking with me.
I'm not fucking with you. He's not a Jew.
I just want to take this moment to preemptively say I love the state of Israel and the Jewish people.
The amount of times I called that guy a anyway.
Whoa!
Joke!
Jews are cool.
Augie radicalized me. I'm sorry, I had to say it.